are drowning. So that is the associations. Then we have implicit and explicit memory. Explicit memory is when you file a coherent memory in time and place with all your senses. Sights, sounds, tastes, touch, smell, thoughts, I reference, me in time and place, like a Polaroid. Boom, you can retrieve it. You can go back and go, 1975, this is what happened. 1992, this is what happened. Your recall, it's accessible in memory. That's called explicit. Implicit memory is when under duress, the adrenaline shuts down the hippocampus and inhibits the mechanisms of the normal storage of memory. And so high stress in situations and pre-3 years old, all the sights, sounds, taste, touch, smells, they are fragments. They're not coherent. And the sense of autobiographical narrative in time and space is not there. And that's because that autobiographical component is a left brain achievement. So you have your senses from the right side of your brain, and you have your narrative from the left side of your brain. And when the two merge, it can create a nice picture in time and space. But if it's pre-verbal and there is no left side, or if it's traumatic, then all you have is fragments. And I take that image of a mirror and I throw it on the ground, and I have shards in all directions of your experience. And this is laying dormant in the darkness of your unconscious, in your shadow. Okay? Then in the neural net of associations, you can have one triggering incident that fires an association. It can be someone's word, one little word. It can be a smell. It can be a sight. It can be some sort of reference. And unbeknownst to you, it's enough to make a vibration in the neural net of associations that releases a shard to merge into consciousness. And when that shard of implicit memory merges into consciousness, it is experienced as if it's happening now. So it can be rage. All of a sudden, someone says one word to you and boom, a massive amount of disproportionate rage arises. Or you notice some feature, a dark trench coat in an alleyway, and boom, terror arises. And it's disproportionate to what's meeting your eye in the moment. You're in a yoga class and you bend and boom, you find yourself absolutely crying, shredded, completely disproportionate to the maneuver that you've done 100,000 times. The level of activation tells you that something in your psyche has been activated in the neural net of associations. You have released implicit memory. And our job is to know and not react. Because what happens when you get terrified? What happens when you get angry? You create karma by reacting to it, right? Or you may deny it. So the very things that you learned about your traumatic incident when you were 9 or 8 and someone touched you where they shouldn't have touched you, is that you go into your room and you close your eyes and you pretend it never happened. Because you didn't trust saying something to your parent. And so now 35 years later, that feeling of terror emerges because of some innocuous association. And the first line of defense is that you tell nobody and you lock the door and you pretend it didn't happen. And so that's what van der Kolk is talking about when he says reenactment. So our job is to allow can you avoid the implicit memory? No, it's like your psyche, this is a terrible analogy, but your psyche is like a minefield. And this is why I want us to get fucking honest, because everybody's life is like a minefield. Did you not figure that out? People are crazy. People are reacting all the time. And then we're really ashamed about our reactions. And then we want to disparage those people, shame and blame them, and exclude them. Instead of going, no, this is the human predicament. There couldn't be something more spiritual than this. Going like, yeah, something crazy just happened to me. I don't know what it is, but it may be the rush of implicit memory. When I feel safe enough with you, maybe I can go back and reclaim this. Let me trace my steps and see what might have triggered it. Now you're starting to act like a detective and you have more features on your table to look at. You have unearthed something that is about to tell you a story. And then your left brain can come online as those sensations come up and those emotions come up and those fragments can come up. Your left brain can go, this is a picture. And now I can put it in time and space. This was me when I was 4. And this person crossed a boundary. And they shouldn't have been there. And I wasn't safe because my parents were checked out. And all of that linguistic capacity comes to meet the fragments and sweeps them together and puts them into a picture. And then you can memorialize it and you can ritualize it and you can actually use it. You can say, this is now my growth leverage. Now I can say I have accomplished something in 10 generations of women that have been raped in my family. I have been the one to own it and to name it and to tame it and to memorialize it and to finally make sense of it. And when you start to think about yourself as an evolutionary being, that this is the most heroic thing. This is why you're here. This is why you're here. You're not here to make $1 million or get some lame accolade or collect a few things. It's preposterous. You're here to do what your forebears were not able to do. You are finely equipped.